Hello and welcome to the final Club World Cup Fantasy video. Today we're doing our team selection for the last game of the tournament. We have Chelsea versus PSG and it's definitely going to be an interesting one, and obviously it's going to be very hard now at this point to gain rank, so we are going to talk about the plans. Obviously I'm sitting 364th in the world right now, really hoping to finish in the top 100, but it is going to be extremely difficult now with essentially everyone going to be owning the same players. But I don't think it's going to be too much of a long video today because we've not really got too much to cover. There's only one match to look at, but if you have enjoyed these videos, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you are new here through this tournament, make sure to stay as well because we are going to have FPL content coming, and of course Champions League fantasy content, which is the better version of this game. So if you've not played that yet, make sure you give it a shot this year. But back to Club World Cup Fantasy, let's jump straight into it. So starting off with my team from last week, it was a much better round in the semi-finals than it was in the quarter-finals for me. Again, a nice, a nice green arrow. We've managed to slash our rank in half. I was sitting about the 750th, and we managed a matchday rank of the 4,300 mark, which was really, really nice, and we done pretty well. Now, I have to keep thinking, how much better it could have been had I picked João Pedro for this squad. I obviously picked up a 13-pointer, and I probably would have a very, very good chance of finishing in the top 100 had I picked João Pedro for the semi-finals. He was really the only player that didn't do well for me, or that, kind of went against me, which wasn't too great. Obviously, our big move going for the Chelsea defence up against Fluminense was the best possible outcome. We managed a 6-pointer from Sanchez, 9 from Chalobah and Gusto, who were our two differentials, and then 7 from Cucurella as well. A lovely captaincy from Dembele, which means once again I've managed to pick the best possible captain. I think that's now 5 out of 6 match days, or maybe 4 out of 6 match days where I've picked the best possible captain. So really, really, great news with that. Fantastic. Hopefully I can do it in the final where a lot of people are going to be using the max captaincy chip. Nuno Mendes was my big L of the week. I was, kind of expecting a lot of goals in the PSG Real game. I definitely wasn't expecting a PSG clean sheet, especially after seeing how attacking that Real Madrid lineup was. But now that's 4 clean sheets in a row, I think, for PSG against Bayern Munich. A clean sheet against Atletico, now a clean sheet against Real Madrid as well. So clean sheets all over the place. So I know where I'm going to be going for the final. But I definitely wish I played Nuno Mendes over, a Kvaratskhelia in that match. But I think in hindsight, it was probably the best move to do. I now know in future, PSG defence is definitely the one to look at. But really nice points all over. I'm glad that Chelsea went through and PSG, because now I've got a lot of players heading into the final and I really get free reign at whoever I want to pick. So this round, PSG are given a 77% chance of winning the tournament. This is based on the odds to lift the trophy. And of course, no surprises there that PSG have are the favourites for this match. Now, if you haven't checked already, you are only allowed 8 PSG players. So I probably ideally would have picked the entire PSG 11 if I'm being totally honest. But yeah, obviously only 8 max, so we are going to have to pick 3 Chelsea players, which we are going to again speak about in a little bit. But PSG, the big favourites, I'm going to be going for 8 PSG players in this match because I think they could easily run riot over Chelsea. It's, I think Chelsea's a much easier fixture than the likes of Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, who PSG easily dismantled. So yeah, like I said, PSG is definitely one I'm going to be going for. Even more reason to, PSG have over double the clean sheet chances than Chelsea do have, and PSG are looking at about the same as what Chelsea had against Fluminense for a clean sheet in the last round. I think Chelsea were a 38% chance, PSG now given a 36% chance of a clean sheet against Chelsea. So I'm going to be looking at probably the entire PSG defence. There is Beraldo who is available, who right now I think is 1.9% owned, who we are going to look at when we look at the team selection. Definitely someone that I'm going to be going for after Pacho got his red card. He will be out for the final as well, so definitely someone to look out for. He's going to be the only differential available in the tournament for the final. So PSG defence is definitely where you want to be looking. Again, Hakimi, Mendes, 2 players who can get attack and returns as well. We mentioned this in every single video, but definitely want to be going for PSG defenders as much as you possibly can. Definitely don't rule out the attackers though, because they are given a 35% chance of scoring 3 or more goals as well. Now, 11FI don't actually have the chances, the odds for this game just yet, so we are having to use odds checker rather than the predicted goals on 11FI. But over 2.5% or over 2.5 goals, PSG are given a 35% chance. So like I said, PSG are expected to score in this match, and a good few goals at that as well. Only 11% chance for Chelsea to do the same. So again, it's really going to be hard to try and pick 3 Chelsea players that you want to go for, because again, ideally I would genuinely just be wanting 11 PSG players in this squad, which is quite unfortunate, but of course that is the way that the game works, so we are just going to have to make do. So with that being said, I have my 5 transfers available here. You do get 6 for the final, so I'm actually burning a transfer because there's really no point in me using it. I could just use it and use it for a bench player who's not going to play, but this is kind of where I'm at right now. I've benched the players that you can't see at the minute, so Cabell, Cucurella, Leonardo, Vinicius Jr. Leonardo will just stay in the team because he frees up a lot more budget. I do still have 3.9 million in the bank, so I don't think it should be too difficult to get the 11 that you want to get in this round. But as you can see, we've got 8 PSG and 3 Chelsea. It is really 4 Chelsea, but I've not really counted that. I'm just looking at the starting 11 at this point. And again, like I said, I have went full PSG defence. I've got all 4 PSG defenders and Donnarumma in goals. So Sanchez has come out for Donnarumma because I think he's just going to do better. And we've got the full back line: Nuno Mendes, Hakimi, Marquinhos and Beraldo, who, as I said, is going to get the extra 2 points if he does score more than 4. I think it's, I think he is quite low owned right now, to the point where I don't actually know if he will hit the 5% by Sunday night. I would imagine that he would, because I think he's going to be a very popular transfer in, but he does still have quite a way to go in terms of rising towards 5%. So we'll wait and see with that, but I think I'm definitely still going to go with him, even if he does rise above 5%. So 5 PSG defenders, the max that we can possibly get, hoping that they can keep that clean sheet. And then in midfield is where it's kind of a little bit more difficult. Obviously, Fabian Ruiz was the star in the semi-finals, doing really well. I don't have him. Desiree Doué is another one who has been doing quite well in this tournament, and it's going to be another popular one who, again, I do not own. What I have done is went for Dembele. Of course, he's the main guy for the PSG attack, and then I went for Kvaratskhelia as well, because I think he is just a little bit better than Doué is, and I think he's a little bit more... I think he's got a better chance of, a big haul in that regard. Then I went for Vitinha as well, purely because of the penalties. I want to make sure that I'm covered for absolutely everything, and Vitinha is the penalty taker in the PSG squad. Plus, he does often get, chances created points. So in a game where a lot of people are probably going to end up with 2 points, because there's not everyone's going to be able to, contribute to goals, Vitinha can easily get points elsewhere with chances created, and he could end up with 3 or 4 points even if he doesn't get an attack in return. Now, when it comes to Chelsea, I did have to pick a striker, because obviously PSG don't have an available striker apart from Gonzalo Ramos, who isn't going to be starting. So I went for João Pedro, obviously done really well in the previous match, but my Chelsea striker is just going to be whoever starts at striker for Chelsea. So more than likely it is going to end up being João Pedro. And then our midfielders, Cole Palmer is in there, again, because he is the penalty taker. And the off chance that Chelsea do end up getting a good attack, potentially get a penalty, I just want to make sure that I've got the penalty taker covered off, and that is of course going to be Cole Palmer. And then the backup is probably going to be Enzo Fernandez as well, and he's another one who could potentially pick up extra points for chances created and stuff like that as well. Plus, he has been getting involved with the attack and returns as well, so he's in there alongside Palmer and João Pedro. So that is how the team is going to be for me. In terms of captaincy, I think Dembele is going to be a very popular captain for the final. I'm going to go for Hakimi myself. I do think PSG will keep a clean sheet, in which case he will match Dembele if Dembele scores, and Hakimi is obviously very capable of picking up assists and goals as well. I think Hakimi will probably be the most popular captain in the final, but obviously I need to try and match anyone who does the max captaincy. So I just need to nail this as good as possible, and I really need to hope that it is going to be Hakimi that does get the most points. Otherwise, I could be pretty screwed against people who do use the max captaincy chip. But it is going to be Hakimi for me more than likely, because I do think that clean sheet is going to come along for PSG. And whether this gets me into the top 100, I don't think it will, because I don't really have anyone that people don't have. I think it's just going to be whatever PSG attacker does the best. I really need Desiree Doué to blank, Fabian Ruiz. That is kind of where people are going to go different, and potentially the number of PSG defenders. Maybe someone will play Cucurella, but that's kind of all I have to go off of, and hopefully, Hakimi is going to be the guy who gets the most points in the final. But that's going to be it for the Club World Cup fantasy game. If you did enjoy the videos throughout the tournament, again, make sure to subscribe, because we will have the exact same sort of videos for FPL this year, and of course Champions League fantasy. So make sure you stay subscribed if you joined recently. If you have been a long time viewer, again, thank you so much, and I will see you all next season. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy, and I'll see you all in the next one.